everyone, astrophysicist here with the story of the Great Comet Panic of 1910. The comet in question here is probably our most famous, Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet comes around every 70 to 80 years and has been recorded by civilizations as old as the Babylonians. Now, most cultures thought that comets were bad omens and associated them with plagues, war, famine, any bad thing happening at the time. It wasn't until 1705 that astronomer Edmund Halley figured out that they orbit the sun, just like most stuff does. In the 1800s, astronomers figured out that comets are actually just big, dirty ice balls that hang out beyond the orbit of Neptune, and occasionally venture toward the inner solar system. So the next time Halley's Comet came around, people actually knew what it was. But there was this guy. There's always a guy. This guy's name was Camille Flammarion, and he was kind of a science communicator, but more of a guy who craved attention on the 1910 equivalent of TikTok, the papers. Flammarion knew that the passage of Halley's Comet was going to be so close that Earth would actually pass through its tail. But in his article for the New York Herald, he started speculating wildly that this meant that the atmosphere would turn to water, or somehow we'd lose all our oxygen. But it gets worse. Astronomers detected cyanogen gas in the comet, and cyanogen gas is basically cyanide. So the papers went to Flammarion, and they said, "What's your level-headed scientific take on this?" And Flammarion said, "You're all gonna die." So people stopped planting crops, and they defaulted on their bank loan. And in 4 countries at least, people started unaliving themselves. Snake oil salesmen began selling comet pills and comet insurance. People boarded up their houses, they jumped into wells, they fled into caves. And for what? Nothing. Nothing happened. It was just some guy who craved attention and would say anything he could to get it. We have one of those alive today, but we'll talk more about him later. Anyways, that's the story of the Great Comet Panic of 1910. Fortunately, after that, nobody ever made a false doomsday accusation ever again. Feel free to drop any questions in the comments, and I'll see you next time.